Hello and welcome back, high level listeners, to week 3, day 2 of our English for Travel speaking course. Today's focus is vocabulary and key expressions. We're here to help take your English to the next level with real American and British English. I'm Kat, the American voice here on High Level Listening.
And I'm Mark, the British voice, and today's class in our English for Travel course will be a great way for you to expand your vocabulary skills.
We'll be releasing a new video each day, Monday to Friday, on YouTube for free. But if you don't want to wait, you can get all 5 of this week's videos today by purchasing the full English for Travel course on our High Level Listening store. On top of that, you get downloads, MP3s, worksheet pages, phrase lists, pronunciation guides, and homework activities. You can click the link below in the description and get all of that right now.
Yes, okay, so let's get started. In our first class, you heard the entire conversation between two tourists about sightseeing. We'll go through the same dialogue, and we've chosen the best expressions and phrases from that dialogue, and we'll explain them in more detail. Most of these phrases can be commonly used in both American and British English. If there are some vocabulary differences, we will explain that in the video. Remember, you can get these phrases and definitions in a list as part of the bonus materials in the course in the description below. Anyway, let's get started. Here is the first vocabulary phrase from the dialogue. Are you on vacation here too? This was a question to start the conversation. I'm from the UK, so you can say, are you on holiday here too? In the UK, most people go on holiday when they travel. Are you on holiday here too? Are you on vacation? Has the same meaning, but is more common in America. So I'm basically asking, are you here because you are on holiday? Are you a tourist like me? Are you here on vacation too? Are you on holiday here too? This is a great way to start a conversation with someone who you think is another tourist.
Our next phrase, it's been great so far. It's been great so far. So if we break it down, it has been great. That means my trip has been great. The weekend has been great. It has been great so far. Oh, it's been great so far. That means until now, until this point, I've been having a great time. Okay. Oh, it's been great so far.
The next part of the dialogue. Is it your first time in? But we used a more casual form. First time in? I said, first time in New York? This means, is it your first time in New York? But I want to be friendly and I want to be casual because I'm talking to another tourist. So, first time in London? First time in Paris? I understand that we are in New York right now. So, I'm in New York, you're in New York. First time in New York? Is this your first time in New York? Again, this is another way to start a friendly conversation with another tourist.
Here's another phrase. We just got here. We just got here. That means that we arrived very recently. Okay, we've arrived very recently. But it's really funny because I think Americans probably use the past tense more often. Mark, would you maybe say we just got here, or would you say something like we've just gotten here, something like that?
Yeah, in the UK, we use the present perfect more often. So we have just arrived. We've just arrived.
Nice. Okay. So it sounds really American when I say it. Oh, we just got here. Like, we just got here. We just arrived. We just got here. So we use the past tense a lot more often, and you'll hear the present perfect a lot more. So this is a case where if you'd like to follow me and saying, yeah, we just got here, or follow something that Mark might say, we've just arrived. We've just arrived.
One of the answers Kat gave was, it's overwhelming, but in a good way. I asked, how's New York? How have you found it so far? She said, overwhelming, but in a good way. This is a contrast. Maybe a city is very, very big, crowded, noisy, hectic, but you're still enjoying it. Maybe it has a lot of energy or it has a really exciting nightlife or atmosphere. So we often contrast different opinions with, but in a good way. Like, it was busy, but in a good way. Like, or it's hot, but in a good way. Even though it was a little bit negative, I'm still enjoying it. A lot of people visit big cities like London and New York and don't like it because it's too big, too crowded, too noisy. But this person is enjoying it. It's overwhelming. There's a lot of people, a lot of traffic, and a lot of big buildings. But she's still having fun. So it's overwhelming, but in a good way.
Okay, so our next phrase, have you checked out this place? When we say, have you done this? Have you done that? It's pretty common in small talk conversation when you're talking about sightseeing and you're talking about visiting a city that you usually have a list of things to do, right? Have you seen this? Have you done that? Have you checked out this? So the present perfect is actually perfect for this situation and making this list. Have you checked out the Statue of Liberty yet? To go and check something out, to check something out is to visit it and experience it usually for the first time. You should go check it out. Have you checked it out? It's really fun. So to check something out is to visit and go to that place and make your own decision, visiting something for the first time. Have you checked it out yet?
So Kat's question is in the present perfect. Have you checked out the Statue of Liberty yet? My answer is a different grammar tense. I said, yeah, we checked that out yesterday. That's the past simple. We checked that out yesterday. We use the past simple when we also include the specific time it happened. Yesterday, we went. Yesterday, we visited. Yesterday, we checked that out yesterday. In other words, we checked the Statue of Liberty out yesterday. So when you're traveling or visiting lots of different places, check out is the most common phrasal verb they use.
Our next phrase, we're thinking of doing something. We're thinking of visiting it tomorrow. So when we're thinking of something or thinking about something, maybe we have some plans for the future. Yes, we can use, we're thinking of visiting it tomorrow. We're thinking of doing that tomorrow. Yes, we can use the present progressive. We are doing something tomorrow. It's very common to use that for something that's happening right now or something that might be happening in the future, right? So we are planning to do that. We are thinking of doing that tomorrow.
Another phrase, a good question to ask another tourist is, what did you think of this place? So Kat mentioned that she went to the Statue of Liberty. And I said, okay, I haven't been there yet. What did you think of that place? So I want to know her opinion. She went there, so I'll use the past tense as well. What did you think of Times Square? What did you think of Central Park? What did you think of the Statue of Liberty? I'm asking for someone's opinion, and I know that they visited, they went there. So this is a really useful question if you want some recommendations or opinions about where to go.
All right, our next phrase is another great question. Was it worth it? Was it worth the hard work? Okay, so when we talk about something being worth it, that means I'm working hard, and at the end, is the thing really nice at the end? Is it really good value? Is it worth it? Was it worth it? So in this case, you have to climb a lot of steps to get to the top of the Statue of Liberty. But what happens if you get up to the top and you think, oh, well, that was a lot of hard work and the view's not even nice? Well, then it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Or maybe you go to a museum and the cost is really expensive. And you go inside and there's not actually a lot to see. So it wasn't worth it. It's not worth it. So it's a great question to ask if you have to do a little hard work or if something is kind of expensive. So, was it worth it? Was it worth the money? Was it worth all the hard work?
In response to that, Kat said, it was even more amazing in person. In person is when you go there yourself and you see it with your own eyes. A lot of famous places, you can see a picture on Google or you can see videos online, but when you go there in person, you can see more. Maybe something is bigger, more beautiful, or more spectacular than the photos. So when that happens, it is even more amazing in person. So going there yourself is better than looking at pictures or videos online. It was even more amazing in person.
Very quick way to say thanks. Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the tip. Now, tip, yes, in the United States can be some extra money that you give to your server after your meal is finished, but it can also be a piece of advice or a recommendation. So, thanks for the tip. So when someone says, oh, yeah, so go get your tickets early and line up very early, no one will be at the museum. Oh, thanks for the tip. Thanks for the tip, which means thanks for that helpful advice, right? Thank you for the advice.
We've seen a few questions so far about places you have been. Have you checked out here yet? Did you go here? Have you been there? If my answer is no, I said, we haven't made it there yet. The key verb is make it. If I make it to a place, it means I go to that place. I take a taxi, I take the subway in New York, and I go there. I make it. Especially if it's a place that you really want to visit. It's a special place or a famous place. You're like, I made it to Central Park. I'm here, like in the movies. So make it, or I made it yesterday, is when you arrive at a place and it's somewhere you really want to visit. So in the dialogue, I said, we haven't made it there yet. That sounds like I want to go there and I have a plan to go to a Broadway show or the Statue of Liberty, but so far during my vacation, I haven't made it there yet.
So our next one, is it really as blank as they say? So, is it really as beautiful as they say? Is it really as chaotic as they say? Who's they? Well, people in general. Maybe you've heard things, okay? You've been reading blogs, you've been watching TikTok videos, and people are saying, oh, yeah, it's really crazy. There's lots of flashing lights. It can be really chaotic. So I want to ask this person who has really, truly been there, okay, is it really in real life? Is it really as chaotic as people say, as they say? Which means maybe people were being a little dramatic. I want to hear from you. You just went, right? You just went. So I want to hear from you. Oh, is it really as nice as they say? Is it really as fun as people say? Like, I want your real advice. Give me your real opinion here.
Yes, in the dialogue in response to that, I think Kat talked about, or maybe I talked about Times Square. I said, oh yeah, it's definitely something to experience. It's something to experience means it's something that you should try. It's something that's quite unique or interesting or very special. Going to Times Square will have huge buildings, big flashing lights, lots of crowds, lots of restaurants and traffic. That is quite a unique experience. You can't find that in every city. So yeah, it's something to experience. This phrase also implies that it is a little bit stressful, potentially quite overwhelming. If you're not comfortable in big, busy cities, maybe it's not for you, but it's something to experience. It's something that you probably won't forget. or something that will make a big impression on you, whether it's good or bad.
Just like Mark said, it's something to experience because, I mean, I didn't say it was a great experience. I said, well, it's definitely something to experience. So it could be a little bad. So I want to get the person ready. So I would say something like, oh, just be prepared for this. Just be prepared for a lot of people and bright lights. So just get yourself ready. Get yourself ready. Get prepared, right? Just be prepared for a lot of people and bright lights. I'm kind of giving you a caution or something that you should be ready for.
Another useful part of the dialogue was giving a recommendation to another tourist. We said, if you're into art, I 100% recommend the MoMA. So this is a conditional sentence, sorry. If you're into this, if you're interested in this, if you like this, if you like sport, if you're into art, if you're into history, then I recommend a place or an attraction or a tour. So if you're into art, I 100% recommend the MoMA. The MoMA is an art museum in New York. So if you like this topic, you will enjoy this place. It's a nice way to make recommendations.
When people are out traveling, it is really common to give opinions and give some options and kind of tell people the list of things that you researched and to share it with others, especially Americans. We will talk for about 10, 15 minutes just on, oh, yeah, we can do this. And oh, you should definitely do that. And oh, if you like that, you'll really like this. So it's kind of fun that we like to share this information with other people. So a lot of these are really good sentences to do that. We've heard good things about this. So maybe we read some interesting information. We've heard good things. That means people keep telling us, oh, we heard it from this person. We heard it from this person. We heard it from the internet. So just in general, we've heard good things. We have heard good things. Oh, we've heard good things about it. We've heard good things about it. This is also a good way to, agree with the person. Mark said I should go to the MoMA. And I think, oh, yeah, well, we've heard great things about it. Oh, we've heard wonderful things about it.
Good question you can ask. If someone has visited a place that you want to visit too, what's the best way to do this? In the dialogue, I said, what's the best way to get tickets? So I know the other person has some experience. They have gone through the process or visited there before. Maybe they found an easier way, maybe a more convenient way or a cheaper way. So what's the best way to get tickets? What's the best way to get a tour? What's the best way to see the cathedral? Any specific advice that you need? What's the best way to do it?
Now, we like this phrase because sometimes the better way or the best way is to buy those tickets online so you can skip the line. Skip the line. So if you skip something, there's two meanings of this. Skip is like jump, or skip kind of means you don't do it. You don't do it. So if I want to skip the line, that means I buy my tickets online. I don't have to stand in line and wait with everyone else. I can just go straight to the entrance. So they have lots of passes, museum passes, tickets, and one of the biggest reasons you might buy them online is to skip the line, meaning you don't have to stand in line and waste all that time just to buy tickets.
There's a vocabulary difference here as well. In the United States, skip the
Oh, yeah,
line.
good.
In
Yeah.
England, you'd skip the queue. The
Mm-hmm.
queue. That's Queue, queue. But it's the same meaning. It's a line of people waiting to go inside. You skip the line. In England, skip the queue. So when you receive some really good advice, if you receive a good recommendation or a good tip that could save you time or save you money during your trip, say thanks by "we'll keep that in mind." If Kat says something useful, like buy the tickets online in advance. Okay, good idea. We'll keep that in mind. In other words, we will remember that and take your advice. Thanks. We'll keep that in mind. If someone says, when you leave the airport, don't take any of the taxis outside. They're all expensive. Go down the street and you can take an Uber or a taxi. Oh, cool. Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
You can't leave New York without doing this. So you can't leave New York without seeing a Broadway show. You can't leave, let's say, you can't leave Texas without trying the barbecue. So this is a good way to say, oh no, you have to have it on your list. Oh, you have to do this, right? If you like Friends, you can't leave New York without visiting the Friends fountain or something like that, right? So it's something you just can't miss and you shouldn't miss it. So you can't leave this place. You can't go home without doing this,
Dialogue, I said, we definitely want to see at least one before we go. The main phrase, before we go. We go where? We go home. Before we go means before we go back to our home, before we leave this place and our trip ends. So maybe we have 2 days more of a vacation. We want to visit some museums before we go. We want to see at least one Broadway show before we go. So when you end your holiday or end your vacation, that's when you go.
Nice thing to say when people, when you just kind of leave the conversation, enjoy the rest of your trip. I actually like when Mark said it because he says, well, enjoy the rest of your trip. And it just sounds like, well, you know,
That's the
you
end.
kind of
Well,
hit your legs. Oh, well, it's time to go. So you would probably say something like, well, enjoy the rest of your trip. It kind of is a nice way to say this conversation is ending soon. Okay. So enjoy the rest of your trip, meaning your trip is continuing. All right. So enjoy the rest of your trip. I know you have more sightseeing to do. I have more sightseeing to do. So enjoy the rest of your trip.
and the last key phrase, maybe we'll run into each other again. So the phrasal verb is run into. If Kat and I are strangers, we don't know each other, and we had a conversation, maybe tomorrow or the next day we see each other again. I'm like, oh, Kat, I met you yesterday. Hi. We run into each other. It means that we meet each other by surprise or meet each other by accident in a positive way. So maybe because we're both tourists, we will be in the main tourist spots at the same time again. And maybe we'll accidentally meet each other. So maybe we'll run into each other again. Maybe we'll see each other again. Okay, well then, everyone, that is the end of our list. I hope it was full of useful phrases and vocabulary for you. This is just day 2 of our sightseeing week, and I hope you're looking forward to tomorrow's class. If you don't want to wait for tomorrow, all 5 videos are ready to go in the link in the store. You've got PDFs, worksheets, MP3s. The list of phrases we saw in this video have pictures to help you memorize them and study them even better. You can click the link in the description below and get it now.
Did you hear or learn anything new in our sightseeing vocabulary class today? What was your favorite phrase? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow for our next class.